Facebook. Hello, or that's YouTube. Hello, YouTube people. I am going live here just to talk about what we're doing tomorrow. And now we're live on Facebook in a second. So, at least it's trying to. Okay, now it's live. We're giving a little test run here. I've got, hold on a second. Showing, I guess what am I showing? What do you see on your side?
I can see the truck, the 3 scope screens, and the bench.
Oh, and you're there. Okay. Hello. So, yeah, that's basically your view, right? I just resized you. So we got a big day tomorrow at noon, Central Daylight Time, here at the Automotive Campus. I have Mr. Chris Reynolds from Lewis and Clark Community College. He's the program coordinator there, department chair, head honcho extraordinaire. And myself, we're going to cover these 4 scopes. We're going to look at a maxi scope. We're going to look at a Handtech $60 scope. The maxi scope is like $400 for the basic kit. $140 Pico 2204A. And we're also going to look at this flagship, is what we'll call it, the Pico 4425, which it's like $1,500. So you got $1,500, $140, $60, and $400. Really, these two will compete against each other. $400 versus the $1,500 Pico, and because they're both 4-channel scopes, they can measure 4 things. And then these two would compete up against each other. This is the 2-channel Handtech and a 2-channel Pico that are relatively inexpensive, probably cheaper than like a ratchet, a snap-on ratchet. Would you think there? When was the last time you bought a snap-on ratchet? I mean,
still paying for it.
Yeah. So really, when you think about some of these smaller scopes, they're really inexpensive. And if you're just looking at getting into scopes, and you've been doing some research and you're studying, and you're like, man, I don't know, dropping $1,500 just for the basic kit on a nice Pico scope, well, maybe you don't need to jump in head first at that level. You can test the waters with something cheaper like a 2-channel Pico or this 4-channel maxi scope. And what we'll do tomorrow, or I'll do it, or then Mr. Reynolds here, he's going to go ahead and make fun of me when I screw something up, trip over the wires, and point out all the mistakes, and throw in his little tidbits of wisdom whenever they may appear. I've got every sensor that, well, okay, not every sensor. Let me say that about a year ago or 6 months ago, a long time ago, I quizzed some of these online groups, these the Pico groups and lab scope groups. I said, what do you guys test out there in the field? What's your most common use for a scope? And everybody mentioned things from amp checking blower motor circuits to relative compression tests to mechanical tests with pressure transducers to checking CAN bus to checking the secondary ignition system, crank and cam correlation, you name it. There's a bunch of things. So what I've done is I've wired up this 2014 GMC Sierra with all these different wires and circuits, and I'm hooking these up. We're going to hook them up to every one of these scopes. And I made it quick so that way we're not sitting there wasting too much time trying to get a connection or a signal. And we're going to go through and see if we can get usable patterns on these scopes. Because depending on how you use it, you might not need to spend $1,500 and get the power scope. And mind you, that's just a basic kit. That doesn't include amp clamps and some of the other things like pressure transducers and so forth. Maybe you can get by with a $400 scope or even a $140 scope. So we're going to look at all that stuff. That is on the Facebook, SIUC Automotive Technology Facebook page. Obviously, you'd probably be seeing that on this, maybe. But so it's SIUC Automotive Department, Technology Department Facebook page. And then there is the SIU Automotive Technology YouTube channel. make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And then there's also the Twitch, which nobody ever seems to go to, but it's SIU_automotive_technology. They make you put you can't have spaces in the Twitch names for some reason. That's kind of like 1980-ish, don't you think there, Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what do you think? Anything exciting to add?
No, I think this will be great to take feedback from technicians that are out there working and being able to compare all of these scopes together at one time in a live stream.
Yeah, and I wish I had more scopes. This is all I have. I've got older Picos, but this is what Pico sells now. But I don't have like the E-scope. I don't have the latest and greatest snap-ons with built-in scopes. So, you know, the way I look at this is just going to be PC-based scopes and the ones that we have available. And hopefully you'll get something out of it. If nothing else, you might lose a little bit of that fear on taking that leap and trying to jump into the scoping game. And anyway, I will see you all tomorrow on these channels at noon. And until then, adios.